Thank you for visiting our website, and thank you for downloading this free copy educational material on how to read your insurance estimate. Up here I have two insurance estimates. They are the before estimate and the after estimate. So the before estimate is the original estimate that the insurance adjuster produced based on what he could see when he initially went to inspect the property. As you can see here, the replacement cost value is the most important number on this estimate. The replacement cost value on the first estimate was $38,522.02. This estimate is based on what he could see when he first arrived. And now this is the second estimate here, which is what we were able to increase the claim based on the pictures that we were able to take and based on the documentation that we could provide to the insurance company. And as you can see, it went up to $53,826.61. So the reason we were able to increase those two numbers is because we were able to take pictures and show documentation for code items that were required. We literally sent them hundreds of pictures to show every last component that we installed. And so we're going to kind of go through it in a little more detail. And as you can see, I'm going to kind of scroll up to the very first page of the insurance estimate. This is a State Farm insurance estimate, although they all kind of are similar to this. They give you sort of like some basic information about codes and laws and choosing a contractor and that kind of thing. It's good to read through that. Then they give you a sample of their insurance estimate. It's sort of their attempt to explain certain keywords here, which is here are the keywords like depreciation, replacement cost value, actual cash value is important. We're not going to get in too depth into all the jargon because this is just sort of a quick video to show you, some real important aspects of the insurance estimate. For example, the replacement cost value number is the most important number there, and this is what insurance is ultimately willing to pay to get this job done. So as we go through the insurance estimate, there are some additional amounts available if incurred, which that means if we have to do any additional items, for example, code items, then they will pay for those, and this is sort of like the maximum amounts that they're allowed to pay. So they can pay all the way up to $50,000 on this one. Didn't quite go that high, but they can pay that much. So as you kind of go through, there's more information about replacement cost value, about notifying them within 30 days after the work is completed. Which, whether you use us or not, you should work with a contractor who can provide all the documentation the insurance company needs in a timely manner. That's very important. And most insurance restoration contractors should provide this for you. Should do all this work for you. Like, for example, it says confirm completion of repair by submitting invoices, receipts, and other documentation to your agent or claim office. So, we do that for you, and most insurance restoration contractors do that for you as well. If you choose to do that on your own, you're perfectly welcome to working with any insurance contractor. It just could delay the process and it could slow things down if you do it yourself, because it can get a little tricky, sending them the information and following up, making sure they got it, and then, walking through and explaining the information that you sent to them. It's very time consuming, and so it's important for you to keep that in mind. And this kind of goes through the rest of the estimate here. So here's item 1, item 2. This estimate is in a format. It's called Xactimate format. So Xactimate is construction estimating software that is pretty much designed for insurance companies and for contractors to have some standardized pricing. So the pricing for the insurance job is basically dictated by this company called Xactimate, and the idea is that Xactimate gives a fair market value, fair market pricing. So, however, sometimes Xactimate doesn't estimate it correctly. For example, on this one, the painting, Xactimate paid, I want to say like literally $150 for some painting, and we got our subcontractor to go and look at it. Right here it says per bid from R&R Associates Construction. They did a bid for us, $950 for that painting work, and they went ahead and approved that. So we don't always have to go through Xactimate, but oftentimes that is the best way to go. Here's a R&R means remove and replace fascia. So every every item is on here. So here's the roof. You can kind of see that. And then you can kind of go through each line item there. And it kind of says tear off the roof, install a new roof, drip edge is flashing for the roof, ridge vent is a vent that goes on the roof. So this is all just every line item that the insurance is willing to pay. And so that's kind of, the basic idea of reading through the insurance estimate. As you can see on this side, this is the original estimate. I'll kind of bring this up here. They did pay for example, an item right here, detach and reset lightning protection system. They paid $347, but then once we kind of talked to them, they paid $416, so a little bit more on that. Let's see, there's also this item here. The fascia was completely left off the original estimate. The fascia had hail damage to it, and that's some metal trim that goes around, so we were able to add this, get insurance to add this to the estimate, and that increased it, $2,400 almost. So that's something that a good restoration contractor can do, is they can find missing items on the initial estimate, and by sending in pictures and documentation, they can get it added to the second estimate. And that's kind of what I'm showing you here, is the first estimate and the second estimate. We are going to kind of keep going through the estimate. On the original here, it wasn't line itemed out, so they didn't have like line item numbers, which is a little strange. We were able to kind of say, hey, we sent them an estimate with each item numbered, and that makes things a little more clear. That way when we're talking, we can say, well, on item 20, to seal and paint the garage door item, it's, they did bid items, so they actually did not use insurance pricing for that. They used our subcontractor pricing for that. You can see here on the left side of the house, it says no wind or hail damage found at the time of inspection. So they're saying there's no damage on the left-hand side of the house, and we basically agreed with them on that. We weren't able to find any damage on that side either. I think the fascia was damaged, but instead of putting it on this part, they just included as one lump sum. So this kind of just keeps on going through each item. You kind of see each one. So as you can see, this can be a bit tedious to go through each and every line item. However, that's kind of what a good restoration contractor will do, and even go through it with you. We went through every single line item with this client, and made sure that they understood. For example, the stucco repair around doors and windows, they paid $1,480 for that. And so, in terms of insurance restoration contractors, usually will work with the pricing of the insurance. If there's a discrepancy, they can provide photos and provide documentation to reconcile the discrepancy. That's generally the way it should work. And so this kind of keeps on going through where you can see the siding, some siding was replaced there. And then they add line items, 2 ladders, mask and prep, caulking, stucco. So these are all items that had to get added to the estimate. This actually was not on there originally. Let's look at the original one. They paid very little for stucco. You could see stucco and exterior plaster. They paid their $1,515. Stucco around trim and doors, $1,233. So $2,749 was the original price for the stucco. And then over here on the second time around, they paid for the ladders, the mask and prep, caulking, and then stucco. So they increased $3,645 plus these numbers here. So this gave us a better budget in order to get the work done in a good workmanship-like manner, which we did end up doing, and they were very pleased with the work. So this is actually a job we just closed out recently. So as you can see, it kind of keeps going through each line item there. One important aspect to note here is called the depreciation. So you can see here each line, here's the quantity, the unit price, the tax, general contractor, overhead, and profit. This is sometimes insurance includes this and sometimes they don't. In general, they make us kind of like prove that we had to act as a general contractor to get this. And in this situation, we were able to prove that because there was just so much work to do, so much coordination to do, that the insurance just said, well, yeah, we can see that you are acting as a general contractor, so they paid us some additional funds for that. And then the RCV is the replacement cost value. That's kind of like that important number that the insurance is ultimately willing to pay for each line item. On this one for gutters, it's $220. And then they take out depreciation. So they assumed that the gutters are 13 years old, and they assume that the gutters have a 25-year lifespan. So they take out 13 years from the number, which is equal to $114.67, and you're left with $105.81 as the actual cash value. So this is what the insurance paid this customer to kind of get the work started. And once we're done with the work and we show them the pictures and the what's called a notice of completion, once we show them that, they will end up releasing this $114, and then we will collect it from the customer once all the work is completed. So this depreciation number is very important because a lot of people think that this is not recoverable, but it actually is recoverable. It's recoverable once we complete the work and we send them a notice of completion. So most insurance restoration contractors are aware of this, and they should be able to do this for you. So you kind of keep going through, and there is the kind of the grand total areas. At the very end, there's a trade summary. So most insurance companies will provide a summary of all the trades that we worked on. So here's a summary of the awnings, demolition, some dump fees. There was some electrical involved, dryer vents. So there's a very detailed summary of the painting, all the work that was involved here. So it's kind of nice to go to this page if you just want to see the summary instead of going through all the line items. And there's where you get your totals. This total, $53,826, is the same as that first number that we looked at, replacement cost value, and that's the general contractor overhead and profit. The actual cash value. See, one thing that's important: non-recoverable depreciation, zeros all the way down. So sometimes you have what's called non-recoverable depreciation. That can really throw a wrench into things, because that means those are funds that are not going to get recovered, that the insurance will not pay. And generally, you have to pay out of pocket for those funds. So in this one, it was zero. And this $1,345 is what's left. Once we're done with the job, we can still help them get the $1,345. Once they get that, we would collect those funds from them. So as you can see, just to kind of give you an idea, here's the totals on the original, $38,522.02, and went all the way up to $53,826.61. And so by getting them to increase, we had a good budget to use like high quality stucco, professionals to get all the work done. We also used a high quality siding installer to get all of the exterior metal fascia done. They had, just all high quality work. And this home was a very nice home in Parker, Colorado, very luxurious, over $1 million home. And so these folks did not want to, mess around with anything that was lesser than the best quality. And we really just, with $38,000, we didn't have a budget to get everything done the way they wanted to. But once they gave us the authorization to work with the insurance company, we were able to do what we needed to do to have that healthy budget. And we just finished all the work and got it all closed out. So I hope that this was educational for you, and I hope that you got something out of this video. And if you do have any more questions, feel free to reach out to us, and we're happy to provide explanations for you. Thank you, and have a great day.